All right, we're back here, Fat Boy Fadeaway Sports Podcast. Game 3, gentlemen, Warriors, Grizzlies post-game review here. We're doing it a little bit early here this morning, Sunday, Mother's Day, if I can even talk English here, to get the day started.
Today, Junior.
With that said, happy Mother's Day to my mom out there. And as we get this podcast started, gentlemen, the Warriors 142-112 win yesterday over the Grizzlies. Just a spectacular performance from the three guards. They end up scoring, I believe, 78 points combined. They're not going to lose like that. I think they shot, what do I got here, 63% from the field, 50% from three, and 90% from the free throw line as a team. Not going to lose too many games, I believe, when you have that type of percentage. The Grizzlies were definitely off. We'll get into the Morant thing later. We'll get into Brooks a little bit later, so we'll kind of look at it from their side a little bit too. But Tyler, as usual, let's give you the floor first. What do you think? Your initial thoughts of the Game 3 win here? Big win. Warriors up 2-1 over the Grizzlies. Your thoughts?
Happy Mother's Day, Mom. It was a perfect storm. They played unreal basketball. They got off to another slow start, which was a little frustrating. We got to come out of the gates a little hotter. But then the second quarter came, we just stopped missing shots. Poole played spectacular. Curry played great. Klay, I loved how he wasn't settling for threes in the first half. I think he took no threes. He was just getting to the mid-range, trying to get to the hoop, doing it successfully. The Kuminga start.
Go ahead, sorry.
No,
I was just saying, I think part of that defense real quick was the Grizzlies trying to play over the top as well on Klay. It took them a little bit to adjust to that. I think they pointed that out actually on the broadcast as well. The Grizzlies were kind of purposely played up top. It was kind of weird there with Klay. Go ahead, sorry about that.
That's a weird adjustment to make after you did so well against them the previous game. So, I love the Kuminga start, fresh legs. They just played great. Ja was spectacular while he played, but the rest of the Grizzlies, again, didn't do enough. It's a one-man show, and one man isn't going to be able to beat this Warriors team.
Case, you came pretty hard last week at the Grizzlies. There with Brooks. Brooks wasn't there. I called for let's humiliate the Grizzlies. They ended up doing that here, winning the second, the third, and the fourth quarter by 9 or more points after losing the first quarter, so they really poured it on. Your thoughts?
First of all, I want to say happy Mother's Day to our mom. Love her. Done so much for all of us. Won't be here without her. She means the world to me. Yesterday was like the Grizzlies. Mama said days would be like this, It'd be days like this. 60, 50, 90, like what you spoke about, first time since 2001. The last team to do that was the 76ers with the AI leading them.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought out of all the teams? That's crazy stat. Well, good knowledge, man.
Aaron McKee must have been on fire.
But the touch on that game, man, it was obviously, Warriors fans over here. Hell of a game. Maybe not to the public eye, but the Grizz started off hot and they made, I think, their first 6 shots were all 3-pointers, 6 out of 7. I was like, there's no way you're going to shoot 90% from the 3-point line all game. But, like you spoke on, Ja Morant, man, spectacular player, man, just truly special, man. It's my second favorite player. So I always get a kick and enjoy watching him play. Just, the love of the game that he plays with is so much fun to watch. I hate that he's going out of our team like this, but, he truly needs some help. Desmond Bane just isn't himself. I know he went 4 for 5 from 3. But he just doesn't look right now. They said before the game he felt like 80%. Last game was 60%. So, he's coming along a little bit. But Jaren Jackson, I thought he would show up a little bit more. He did the first game. He's kind of tapered off the last 2. So it's going to be a little rough for Ja. I don't know about the knee. I hope he's all right. I never want to see an injury like that happen. I just hope he's good going forward because I want to play a full-strength Memphis Grizzlies team because it's been really good games besides this last one.
And even the game that, it wasn't necessarily ended up being a good game, but there's still always a lot of intrigue. We'll get into it with the drama on this series. Never seems to end. Let's start right away with Klay Thompson. talked about him last time on the podcast, said he was terrible. He definitely wasn't terrible yesterday. Ends up with 9 rebounds as a shock as well in this game. He was good. I mean, he was hitting one-legged 3-point shots. He was much more patient. The Grizzlies, I thought, like I said, they did a good job on him. I thought initially, even though he was shooting well, they kind of did a good job getting out of his hands and forcing him to go some other direction. The Warriors seemed to adjust with more back cuts there. And he just, once he starts getting the first 2 to go in, it just feels like he's not going to miss there for a while. He ends up 8 for 13, 4 for 6 from 3. What do you think, T? You think he just, you think he can consistently get this going now? Or is this like, with, where do you think this is something that he can sustain? That's been the one issue with him, right?
I think he's had these, like, he has bad games every once in a while. He's had it throughout his career. Like, it's not like a rare thing for him to be off in one game. He's been pretty consistent in the playoffs. I think he'll be fine. Like, he just had that one stinker. His defense, is not going to come back this year, like, to where it was before, which is the biggest issue that we're going to have, is trying to stop a guard like they did with Harden before, and now they have to do with Ja. So, like, that, but his shooting is going to be, he'll finish at 40% from 3 and 50% probably or 48% from the field. So I don't worry about Klay. Klay's just going to be Klay.
That one-legged 3 case that he hit is just, I mean,
That was wild.
Nobody even really thought too much of it after it.
You gotta love I always call it the flamingo 3. I love it, man. Just him pulling up like that, and that's when you know he's in the rhythm. He hit that tough fall away fadeaway going right to left. Yeah, he did a really good job actually this game in particular of pump faking and using the advantage and not settling for the 3. Before I felt like he was almost just like, hot lava inside that 3-point line, like he didn't want to go in there. This game, he seemed a little bit more assertive, was willing to make the extra pass to get a better shot, to get a great shot. So I think overall, just the ball movement and the man movement just really helped him out. And, just patience, just keep moving the ball. 24 seconds is a lot. Sometimes it doesn't feel like it, but if they keep moving that ball like that, I mean, they're getting really good shots.
I wanted to point out the bench as well. I thought the others, always a key to the game, always seems to play better at home. We always know that theory. Wiggins was good tonight. I thought Looney was really good. I loved what he brought, especially the first initial point he gave in the game. And of course, Mr. Wilt there, Otto Porter, he's been playing a lot better. Seems highly motivated, right, into a deep playoff run, one of his deeper, maybe the deepest run he's probably been in the playoffs. It has to be. He's always hurt right before, so I just love the way he's playing right now. And then, like I said, I wanted to bring up Looney. I just thought he was just for what he did, just that little size difference when he came in. Obviously, they went to the bench too. That always helps when Morant comes out. He played some of those minutes too, but I thought he was really important to the game. And then Wiggins, he did a good job cutting all night. They found him. So good job by the bench. The others, they showed up. We're going to need that the rest of the series, and we're going to need it for the rest of the series. I do want to point out, we can kind of go into both theories here with the others, is Kerr. I thought it was kind of weird. He did start Kuminga, and Kuminga looked like all of a rookie in the start of that game. He looked way out of his element, just making rookie mistakes with bad turnovers and that stuff like that. So he definitely kind of looked a little shaky there. So I don't know, gentlemen, what do you think about the others there real quick, T?
Otto was the guy I was most impressed with on the bench. Like, he does all the small things and he hit threes. If he's hitting threes, they're almost unstoppable offense.
They're leaving him open.
He's been open the last series. He went against Dallas or Denver. He just was missing everything. And now if he gets going, because in the first half of the year when they were on fire, he was on fire.
Hey, can I cut you off real quick? Do you think realistically that the Warriors guys in the playoffs, I guess maybe that should be our question. Can Wiggins and Otto going forward here? That's going to be the play, right? These teams are just going to leave these guys open at times. Can they hit threes enough to win games?
I mean, go ahead, Casey.
Well, I mean, Otto was plus 30 in this game. So,
yes, he was. They did win by 30, so there's some big plus minus numbers in this game.
Yeah. But you could feel his impact though when he was playing. He was out there. I mean, he got that huge. I felt like it was a big, kind of a little turning point when he got the offensive rebound over Brandon Clark. We got that put back too. He was just playing really good, man, really well. Andrew Wiggins, I love that attack mode when, especially that one coast to coast, kind of just gave a little chicken wing to Brandon Clark and threw it down, got the and one.
That was nice. He was good.
Just the way the bench has been playing, even your boy Tyler, gotta love it. Damian Lee's getting some minutes. He's actually playing pretty well. I wouldn't say like spectacular, but
pretty well. For Damian Lee,
he's making some assists. You know, he's not doing like Jonathan Kuminga, like the moment's not too big. He's not too in a hurry. He's just kind of playing, you know, throughout the game, getting the ball to the guys that need to get the ball. Kuminga was just a little too aggressive. He had the first 4 points, but the 3 turnovers he had led to 9 straight points. So, I mean, it was a little too much for him. I mean, he's the youngest starter, they said, in like the last 51 years. So, I mean, 19, man, that's a lot to overcome. But to me, overall, though, I think the bench squad, you know, they can keep it up. I think they got the veteran poise, and, you know, they have the nucleus with the starters that they have to make it all work.
By the way, Damian Lee played 15 minutes and scored 0 points.
Yes, but he was a plus 10 then.
Well, they won by 30.
Let's get into the Grizzlies side of this a little bit. They got Ja Morant. He goes off again. The Warriors go to this weird 1-2-2 zone. It's just kind of funny to watch. They're running against him, giving him the 3. He was 7 of, what was he here? I had him at, I think he was 4 of 7 from 3. Yeah, 4 of 7 from 3. Hit that half court shot there at halftime. Just impossible stuff. I had that one incredible hang time layup. That was the shot that just stood out to me out of all of them. And then he goes down with the injury there. You know, that's the story kind of coming out of it. Poole, they say, grabs his leg. I think he was swiping after the ball. He definitely does grab. I mean, when you slow everything down, he definitely grabs the leg and pull it. It definitely didn't have this feel like the same intent as some of like the Green stuff and definitely the Brooks play. But I kind of want to say, I feel like the refs made the mistake in this series at the beginning. I feel like, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like by ejecting Green, it just made everything's now going to be pinpointed and focused on what a dirty play is. I think if they just would have kept it a flagrant one, which most people would have been like, yeah, that's a flagrant one. I don't necessarily know if we get all this drama about every little single play. That's my theory about this as well. I just think, Tyler, when it's Green especially too, and Brooks, it just hypes it up a little bit more.
I think the Dylan Brooks thing elevated everything.
Yeah.
Because it's hard not to give that a flagrant 2, in my opinion.
But that's what I mean. I feel like Green's, though, elevated because that was ruled a flagrant 2. So once they ruled that that play an ejection, every play from there that looks close is going to be like, why isn't that an ejection? And that's my point, is people start whining about that stuff when you set the standard like that. And I feel like that play set it. And then Brooks was an obvious, to me, ejection.
Yeah, but they don't. The other side doesn't see it as obvious.
Like, that's why the Grizzlies fans. That's why some of these Grizzly fans in the media, and Jenkins said, "Hey, we'll let the NBA look at it," because he's saying, like, let's look at all these plays, and now he's thinking Poole's plays and ejection. I'm thinking the NBA. I've always said this about their new rules here about this ejection stuff. Once you start doing that, it's like you're taking people out of big games, and you're setting standards that aren't consistent. Dan Gundy brought up a fantastic point yesterday about Anderson getting ejected. And if that was Draymond, there's no way he would have been ejected. You know, there's no fairness with these calls. And that's why I don't think the NBA did a good job in that game 1. Like, you set a bad tone for that game 1. Tyler, go ahead. I saw you roll your eyes.
No, I agree with the game 1, but this is why I didn't like going into all this. But like the Kerr comments elevated this also.
For sure.
And that's why I didn't was like, let's keep it about basketball.
No, for sure.
And so
that's what I was saying on our last podcast is, so if Draymond Green's flagrant 2 was an ejection, Dylan Brooks had to get suspended because that one's even elevated higher. And then Kerr, to your point, you know, talking about breaking the code, and then Ja Morant sent out the tweet and then came back and deleted it, broke the code. And then you got Taylor Jenkins saying, then you got Taylor Jenkins saying like, oh, well, you know, the guy asked him, you know, you saw what happened, right? And he's like, yeah, you know, he grabbed his knee. You know, the video doesn't lie. And it's like, and then Jordan Poole comes on, and I watched a lot of the, you know, I really wanted to see what the players had to say. Klay, particularly, is like, I've had a knee injury before. You know, there's nothing malicious about it. You know, there was no intent. He was going for the ball. Curry, you know, to his point, he said, you know, that's not even close. Like Draymond's foul and Dylan Brooks foul.
But
like,
that can't be surprising. They're all Warriors players. Like just like as the Grizzlies players, they're all calling it the same way.
Well, Jaren Jackson Jr. kind of went towards like, you know, they should look at it basically. And I just don't see how. I mean, Jordan Poole's not known for that. I don't even know if he's ever had a flagrant foul, to be honest. To Klay, he's like, I don't even think Jordan Poole's strong enough to do it. To me, it's like we're not talking about basketball anymore. We're getting away from the series. We're getting away from the spectacular basketball that we've seen. To me, it's like,
You sound like Tyler.
No, and this is why Darren doesn't call me a Grizzlies fan, because this is what I didn't like, and this is why I was like, this is
No,
what
I didn't like the
doing
Gary
this.
Payton comments you were saying. That was my biggest issue. I didn't care about that stuff. The Gary Payton, we'll get into that another time, but the Gary Payton tweets were the ones I had the biggest issue with.
We won by 30 without him. He's obviously not that big of a guy.
Well, that could be true for now for one game. We'll see. We'll go going forward. I think, Case, we're getting away from what I wanted to kind of bring a little bit. I just think by setting that tone with a bad call or bad ejection, it now hypes up every single play, such as Poole's play here on the knee, where the video evidence shows if you slow down everything, something's going to happen. Just like if you slow down Ja Morant dribbling a basketball, he's gonna carry. If you slow down Curry, you know what I mean? So now it's pinpointed. I just find it hilarious how media people get involved in this stuff on Twitter. I never really was doing this before with this NBA playoff series, and just how like the guys that are getting paid by these organizations, they act like they're playing on the court, like the Monte Hill guy for the Warriors, like ripping on people in Memphis and Memphis guys ripping on. I know they do it for show, but I'm like, man, you guys got to chill out. You guys are getting paid here. You need to stop this for sure. All right, Dylan Brooks here. Tyler, what do you think he brings to the table now for Game 4? I think Memphis, even if Jaw's out, whatever, they're getting a player back. He obviously is getting that was some of my notes in the game was I didn't feel at one point I was like, oh, they don't have that energy, and he's an energy player. Your thoughts on Brooks maybe coming back and making any difference for him?
Well, I think on the Warriors side, he's going to bring a great crowd for the Warriors. That's first off.
Yeah.
For the Memphis, he's just going to bring a good wing defender who's not scared. It's not going to be too big of a moment for him. So like, I don't think he's enough, especially if Jaw's out. They're done.
You know, for one game, I was like, the one game, like teams can rally for one game. You know what I mean? I feel like if the crowd is hostile, like you're saying, you do see that in sports too, where teams focus. And I think Memphis has that potential to do that. That would be my concern if I'm Steve Kerr. I'm really letting that be known. And Brooks will be highly motivated. So if he plays it well at all, the team will even be more behind him. And I also think Jones is actually a pretty good point guard. It maybe could get you a game in a series. On the road might be a little bit different. So we'll see how that plays out going forward. But I think Brooks, I with Morant now being out, if he is out, it just doesn't feel the same. If he was coming back with the way Morant's playing, you know, but now we're talking a little bit, maybe a little differently here. I know Brooks even struggled in Game 1, but he's a streaky player. And so those guys worry me all the time.
Yeah, to me, I mean, to clarify my point last week, Dylan Brooks is not a piece of shit person. What the play he did was a piece of shit. That's what I meant by that. I don't want to say nothing about him personally, but that play in particular was a piece of shit moment. But anyways, to our bench point, bench always plays better at home. They always do. The road teams.
Sorry.
I know Zaire Williams. He really, really struggled this last game. Dylan Brooks, like Tyler said, you know, the moment's not going to be too big. He's been there, played in the play-in and playoffs game last year. So, I mean, he is a good player. He's going to bring it. He'll probably, you know, he's good for about 15 points. He'll slow down Steph a little bit. If not, they'll put him on Klay. I think Dylan Brooks will bring that energy that you're talking about. The crowd will be hostile. There's going to be a lot of boo birds in there. But, yeah, I think it'll definitely add a little bit more energy to the Grizzlies. And, Yeah, to me, it's just, they're a little bit more whole when they have him. He's kind of like their Marcus Smart for the Celtics.
Tyler, looking ahead to game 4 here, Monday night, who do you think Kerr will start? Think he goes with Otto? You think who do you think he'll start there in game?
I think he'll
Sticks
keep it
with
the same.
Kuminga?
I think he'll keep it the same.
Stick with Kuminga.
I
They got off to a
mean,
rough
it's hard to
start. I
change
mean,
it
they
when
were
you
down
have to
like
win
20-9 there.
He definitely got up to a terrible start, but he played good in the latter half of the game when I guess it was a little more out of control, where it was in hand almost. But
Does it frustrate you guys how Curry plays in that first quarter too? God, he's so sluggish at times. He's so like, I know he ends up with 30, but I'm like, my God, like what's going on out
whole
here?
team sucks in the first quarter.
I mean, they cut it to 2 to end the quarter. So I mean, it almost felt like Curry was kind of pacing himself, reading the room, so to speak, seeing what the options and trying to get other people going and then kind of get the feel for the game. And I get, there's certain times where you have to come out and be aggressive, but I think once he started seeing that league,
Well, not crappy. Don't be crappy. They were playing so bad, Case. They were taking bad shots.
Draymond Green's turnovers.
He was pulling the mask down in anger.
Draymond Green's turnovers this series have been kind of like not his norm. Like he's been doing some bad passes, and I'm confused right now sometimes what he's seen out there. He does make some great passes, but he's been sloppy and loose with the ball. So that's uncharacteristic of him.
I don't know. I feel like that's always part of their game. I mean,
the whole Warriors team is
had 17 turnovers yesterday. That's just like not going to cut it most of the time. All right, let's get into it. Let's end it here. What's the prediction for game 4 here? Give me your big overall thought, Tyler. Your last kind of thoughts on maybe the game here, if you want to go there. Your thoughts maybe for who's going to win game 4. Does Adams play? Morant? Everything. What do you think?
If Adams plays, they better go zone because like I eat barbecue chicken all day. But game 4, I think the Warriors will handle I'm very impressed with the Warriors rebounding in this series.
Me too.
That's the thing that I'm shocked by. That if they keep rebounding like this, I don't worry about a thing. The Warriors have this.
Yeah, I'm taking the Warriors in 5. To what you just said, Tyler, they've out-rebounded the Grizzlies in 3 straight games and outscored them in the paint 3 straight games. First time the Grizzlies have had that happen all year. I think the Warriors, they got this in 5. Like I said, they're going to get one more at Chase and then close them out in Memphis.
I kind of wanted to bring up one last point. I kind of forgot to touch on it, but I wanted to kind of go here with it before we end it, is the similarities between these teams. I think we all kind of felt it a couple of years ago, like just a little bit, not like, oh, their teams are exactly the same, but like they're just were a young team coming up. They beat the Warriors last year. And this series, they just remind me there's more and more of the Warriors young team. And just some of the things that play out in history in my mind always works, like kind of comparing other situations to other situations. And last night, it was hard for me not to think of the Warriors and Steph Curry getting hurt in game 3 against the Spurs with 6 minutes left in the game, losing 90-81 in game 3 with the series tied 1-1. Only difference was the Warriors were at home in that game, and Curry twists his ankle and he goes on to play the next few games, but it was kind of a problem the whole rest of the series, and they end up losing 4-2. As soon as that happened with Morant, that's like the very first thing that came to my mind is that these teams are just getting more and more similar. Semifinals, game 3, just the way they're playing out is very interesting. So I thought that was kind of fluky how that happened yesterday. And I just feel like that to the Grizzlies' credit, they are coming. And I think the Warriors know that and they take them serious. I think that's definitely, you can see that with them. They definitely are locked in on them. No doubt about it. So we'll see what happens, gentlemen, in game 4. I expect Tyler said a hostile crowd. Brooks will get the boo birds for sure. I was a little disappointed at the crowd at the beginning as well. So I still want that San Francisco crowd to show up. It's been, Tyler, just not to my standards as well. So we'll see what happens. Also, that was a tweet I had an issue with as well.
We know there's going to be one person in that crowd that's going to be making some noise. Mama's going to be there with our dad. So 2 people going to be making some noise. So they'll bring that vibe, bring that noise, bring that Oakland or San Francisco love. So let's go.
Well, technically the Marin love. We gotta
That's
get the city right. All right, Warriors, game 3 victory, 142-112 over the Grizzlies, 30-point win. Let's see, one more time, boys. Get it done. 3-1 lead, defend home court. And we'll go to game 5 on Wednesday. See if we can close that at Memphis.
Love to see it.
All right, see you later.